Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Please welcome from KMOX Radio, our Mistress of Ceremonies, Carol Daniel.
Well, thank you so much. It is still morning, so I will say it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. And we know there are a few of you still finding your seats, still trying to give away a business card, still trying to make a connection. If you could please find your seats. We know the lights are down. Do be careful. First things first, now that I've asked you to be seated, I'm going to ask you to stand. Please stand and welcome our 2019 Women of Achievement. Thank you so much. You look gorgeous. I can feel the power, the integrity, the intention, the success. I can feel it. You may be seated. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 64th anniversary of Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. 64 years we have been saying thank you. We are in awe of you, to the women of this region who are changing the landscape of the St. Louis metropolitan area. Can we say thank you to them one more time, to our honorees this year? What an incredible group. And if I could have your attention, if you would please welcome Reverend Joseph Kaiser.
Today we honor the presence of God as we acknowledge those who are great among us. The scripture tells us that in order to be considered great, you must be servant of all. Dr. King said that everybody can be great because everyone can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. Your subject and your verb doesn't have to agree to serve. You don't need to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. All you need is a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. We come before the presence of God honoring women of various backgrounds that have sacrificed themselves for others' gain, who've silently built up those that were broken, pouring into many that were empty. And this organization for decades have shown the light of gratitude on your selfless acts of compassion, looking beyond religion, hue, and creed. We've gathered to pay tribute to those who are great because you have placed others before yourselves. Phenomenal women who have chosen to be the difference to the ills they see in the world. We ask that the God of mercy, love, and grace fill this event and continue to empower those who are being honored as well as those who support your work and acknowledge your effort. May you grow in love as you continue to be the hands and feet of God's compassionate heart. And may your hands continue to be a blessing, your heart continue to embrace, and may your labor never be in vain. We pray this afternoon that you are nourished and strengthened by the meal that is provided, so that you will continue to be a voice for the voiceless and a strength for the weak, shining a path through the darkness of this world for all to follow. Thank you.
Before you begin enjoying your lunch, I have a very, very quick story to tell you. It's my joy as my phone goes off. I have this ringer that sounds like the ice cream truck. It's my joy every year to give you a charge as you enjoy your lunch. My son recently complained to me, as children are wont to do. He's a freshman in college, a theater major. He is an actor. And he got a part in a play. But the part was him in the second act, he said, dismissively, just pushing a box on the stage twice. And it's in the second act, Mom. I can't believe it's in the second act. I said to him the words of Dr. King, "You better be the best box pusher." You said I took out street sweeper, put in box pusher. You better push that box on that stage like no one has ever pushed a box on the stage before. You better catch the attention of the audience and make them wonder, how is he pushing that box with such passion? How is he not falling? How is he taking those steps with such strength and courage? I want them to feel your passion, not only for what you're doing, but your passion for the box, because the box has to get to a place on the stage, and it can only get to that place with your help. There are boxes in our community who feel like they can't move. Someone has to push them. And the only way they will really get to the place they are supposed to on the stage of their lives is if you push them with passion. Some people see the box as nothing. They don't even care what's in it. It's just a box. They might think it's empty because it's a box. They might think it's filled with junk, like some of you have in your basement, a box filled with stuff you haven't looked at in years. You don't know what's in it. You put stuff in it a long time ago. You don't care about that box anymore until you have to move, and then you're mad at the box for being present. But you're the one who put the box there. And so to the ladies this morning that we are honoring for your courage, for seeing boxes empty or filled with junk or filled with something we don't even understand. To you this morning, you've pushed that box on stage, just as I told my son to, with courage and with passion that has made us look at you and wonder, how did they get that box to that place on the stage? How did they get that simple, empty box? It's just brown, it's just cardboard, it's just square or oblong. How did they get it to that place on the stage? We are in awe of you for the work you have done to push a simple box into the place it is supposed to be in on the stage of its life. You're some good box pushers, yes you are. So, the challenge for you as you eat your lunch today is to look at each other as simple boxes, but to know that the box has purpose. You may not even know what it is, but you're supposed to know that that box has purpose and that your goal is to push it to where it is supposed to be on the stage of life. So get to know the boxes at your table today. Figure out how you can push them further in their journey on stage. Enjoy your lunch. We'll be back to meet these outstanding box pushers, our 2019 Women of Achievement. Enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Carol Daniel.
Well, I so hope you enjoyed your lunch today. Could we say thank you to the staff here at the Ritz-Carlton? They are so good to us every single year. We're so grateful. So recently, I was flying back from Las Vegas for my birthday, and I'm walking through the airport, and I look and I thought, that's somebody I know in San Francisco. And it was our next speaker. She is such a dynamic woman, but even more than her professionalism and her talent is her heart. She is filled with compassion and empathy. Would you please welcome the president of Women of Achievement, Dr. Gwendolyn Packnett.
I love you back. Good afternoon. Are you enjoying the afternoon? Wonderful. Thank you, Carol Daniel and KMOX Radio Intercom St. Louis. We greatly, greatly value your support. And Carol, your prodigious skills and spark as Mistress of Ceremonies always energizes us. You are simply the best. Let's give her a hand. On behalf of Women of Achievement, I extend my profound gratitude to you, our sponsors. You are indispensable to our organization, and your support is made evident on this day and beyond. Thank you. Much gratitude to our sponsors. To our very capable Vice President, Marian Nunn, and the Women of Achievement Board of Directors. I think it can be said that excellence is your hallmark, as you have continually demonstrated impressive volunteer service and volunteer leadership to Women of Achievement. My heartfelt gratitude to each of you. Would you kindly stand and be recognized at this time? Vice President Marian Nunn and the Women of Achievement Board of Directors. Thank you, ladies. And then to each of you, family, friends, and co-workers, your presence on this day is more meaningful than you'll perhaps ever know. You affirm all 10 of our honorees and their selfless service. Thank each of you for being here today. It's okay to clap. Maya Angelou, one of my favorite poets, said, "A woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and herself only." Each of these exceptional women are proof of that kind of authenticity. They realize there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story that's inside of you. They have birthed their dreams, as we will witness in their video. They recognize that hope and fear cannot occupy the same space at the same time, and only one can be invited to stay. To our honorees, thank you for showing us what a woman in harmony with her spirit and hope manifested can produce. Thank each of you. Well, here we are, now in our 64th year. We have over 120 Women of Achievement present on today. Yes. They are indeed remarkable women with unparalleled commitment to the betterment of our region. All women of achievement, please stand up that we might acknowledge you at this time. All women of achievement. You are absolutely beautiful and amazing and so much more. Dr. Eva Frazer, 2019 Luncheon Chair, and Vice Chair Joni Karandjeff, you alone with your eminently qualified chairs and committee members have done an absolutely stellar job. Thank you to both of you. Outstanding. And so it gives me great pleasure to introduce our phenomenal 2019 Luncheon Chair, Class of 2014, Dr. Eva Frazer.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. And thank you, Carol. I have never heard anyone tell the story of an empty box in such a focused and wonderful way. So inspirational. Well, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. You know, I want to take a moment. This is a day about women, but I want to give a shout out to the men for just a moment, if you'll bear with me. All of us in this room know men in our lives who have supported us, encouraged us, loved us, and stood with us through thick and thin. So I just want to thank all the men in the room who chose to wade into this sea of women and be here today in support. So let's give them a hand. It's been my privilege and honor to serve as this year's Women of Achievement Luncheon Chair. And it's a tribute to every woman at this table to making a difference. Each one of you has shown what one person can do. So to all of the honorees today, thank you for leading and shining your light. And you're all going to hear a lot more about them shortly. And I want to thank President Gwendolyn Packnett. She is so inspirational to all of us. She is gracious, she is professional, she is thoughtful, and you simply can't ruffle Gwendolyn's feathers. She reminds me of my favorite motto, which is keep calm and carry on. And she has done that throughout her leadership and has helped me through this past year, so thank you, Gwendolyn. I'd like everyone to take a moment and just take this all in. Look around the room a bit. Look at the decor. Look at your centerpieces. Think about that wonderful meal, and thank you, Ritz-Carlton, for that we just enjoyed. None of this is happenstance. It really takes an army of people to pull something like this off, and I had an army this year supporting me. First, I'd like to acknowledge Joni Karandjeff, my vice chair, who is my general. Joni, stand up, please, and stay standing. Stay standing. Joni, as a past president, knows all the inner workings of this organization, so she was invaluable as my right hand. She always knew what to do, when to do it, even when she wasn't asked, and anything that was falling through the cracks, she could see it and rapidly picked it up. So thank you, Joni, and don't sit down yet. And then I have to commend my luncheon chairs. You know, women bring the 4 C's to every situation. Women are creative, they're considerate, they're collaborative, and most of all, they're competent. And this group of women, all of my luncheon chairs and co-chairs, please stand. Please stand, all my luncheon chairs. And stay standing, as we have We have another regiment in this Army, and those are all the luncheon committee members. So all of the luncheon committee members, please stand and be recognized. This was the Army of Women. Who brought you today's event. You may now be seated. Thank you. And then I just want to also thank our wonderful sponsors whose ongoing commitment to the Women of Achievement in the region of St. Louis is always appreciated. You help us and facilitate what we are able to do. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you, Dr. Frazer, and your entire team. I next have the pleasure of introducing my boss. I have a lot of bosses, but she is the boss of the bosses. Recently, she emailed me and she said, I want to go out to lunch. And honestly, I thought, this is it. This is it. I'm 57. I've been there for 24 years. The axe is falling. I'm okay, God. Just walk me through it, hold my hand, let the severance check clear. I'm good. But then I thought the angel of the Lord said, fear not. She took me out to lunch and said the following words: I just want to see how you're doing. I said, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. To myself, don't cry, don't cry. She is that kind of a boss. She is that kind of a woman. That is the measure of her character on display every single day with every single interaction. She is the Senior Vice President and Market Manager for Intercom Communications. Please welcome my boss, the boss's boss, Becky Damian. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I guess I should probably rephrase next time I want to catch up with you. Should I not say, let's go to lunch? I thought that, Thank you, Carol. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this luncheon today to honor these 10 amazing women and their accomplishments. I am beyond proud that KMOX continues its long-standing sponsorship as the presenting sponsor of this amazing event that truly recognizes these unsung heroes of our community. Ladies, thank you for your selfless volunteerism and for the tremendous positive impacts you have made on so many lives. You make St. Louis truly a better place. My hope is that we all leave today and are inspired to make a difference. Initially, I said one act at a time, but now I'm going to say one box push at a time. One box is all it takes, right? Thank you and congratulations.
Every year, some of you see each other every year just at this event, and that is okay because then you know I get to see that person. That's how I feel about our next speaker today. Please welcome the General Manager of Ladue News, a presenting sponsor today, Andrea Griffith. I get to see her.
Sharing stories of volunteerism is truly at the heart of our mission at Ladue News. So it is sincerely our privilege for us to partner with Women of Achievement each year to shine a bright spotlight on these awe-inspiring women whose important work and outstanding service to others serves as an example to us all that one person really can make a difference. We take great pride in honoring you and in sharing your amazing stories. On behalf of our team at Ladue News, I want to congratulate this year's Class of Honorees, truly women of remarkable achievement, whose commitment and dedication to improving the lives of others inspires us all. Your tireless and meaningful work helps enrich lives, empower individuals, and better communities while leading the charge for others looking for ways to contribute. Each year as this day approaches, I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes. Edith Wharton said, "There are two ways of spreading light, to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it." Today, we honor 10 bright candles, being recognized for their extraordinary volunteerism. And as we bask in the warmth of their stories, I encourage us all to become mirrors reflecting their light, and join them in their mission to make St. Louis a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. It's now my pleasure to introduce the platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and contributing sponsors for this year's luncheon who help the Women of Achievement organization continue this incredible tradition. Please hold your applause until all of our sponsors have been acknowledged. Our platinum sponsors include Centene Charitable Foundation, Emerson, Maryville University, the Stewart Family Foundation, Worldwide Technology. Our gold sponsors include CPG, Edward Jones, Enterprise Holdings Foundation, Garden View Care Centers, the Gatesworth, Mercedes-Benz of St. Louis, Neiman Marcus, the Ritz-Carlton St. Louis, Simon Foundation, Thompson Coburn LLP, Washington University in St. Louis, and Wells Fargo Advisors. And our silver sponsors, Express Scripts, First Bank, Manman Financial Group, Marion Nunn and Tom Wendell, Stinson Leonard Street LLP, St. Louis Children's Hospital, and Webster University. And our bronze sponsors, Albaray Jewelry, Barry and Myra Sherman, Mr. and Mrs. Stephen F. Brower, Clark Fox Family Foundation, the Delmar Gardens family, Marilyn Fox, Eva Frazer, Dr. Eva Frazer, and Stephen Roberts, Esquire. Phyllis, you know I love you, Phyllis Langsdorf, Nissa Investment Advisors, LLC, On the Run by Wallace Companies, Parkcrest Plastic Surgery, Mary Pillsbury, PNC Bank, the St. Louis Cardinals, Julia Thomas Sword of Moneta Group, Technology Partners, West County Radiological Group, and our in-kind sponsors, always BBJ Linen Rental, Blown Away Blow Dry Bar, Carnival Foundation, and Russell Jackson, Palm Health, Thelma Stewart, Trotter Photo, and Tussey Photography. Let's hear it for all of our wonderful sponsors. One of the highlights of this luncheon is coming now. Please turn your attention to the large video screens as we show a video that honors the efforts of these incredible women whom we are honoring today.
When I'm passionate about something, I jump in with 2 feet. So for the first half of my life, it was all about young children. I taught kindergarten for 30 years, and I loved every minute of it. But as I neared retirement, I was really excited to be able to devote my time to a newly developing passion, which was LGBTQ activism. In the early 2000s, one of my own children came out.
When people make that decision to come out for the first time, it's just hard to put into words, what that feels like, to know that when I come out, I could lose my family.
Because so often when a child comes out, the family is blindsided, they don't have information, they don't understand, and for many reasons they don't support their kids, and from there it's a downward spiral.
There's statistics that show that LGBT youth are among some of the highest population of homeless youth.
The suicide rate is 3 times what it is for the general population. So I learned of this national organization called PFLAG, which is a support group, chapters all around the country, but we didn't have a chapter in St. Charles County. So I started one because I wanted to meet with other parents who might be going through the same issues and have the same kinds of questions.
When Jill started the PFLAG chapter, it really gave families in St. Charles a place to go for support and to feel like they had someone to turn to.
At the time, I had no idea how many people I would be connected with and how many opportunities I would have through that organization to get involved in all kinds of ways. We talk at civic events and on panels, And we attend protests and do whatever arises that needs to be done.
You know, I can't stress the importance of people like Jill, who are there and providing that support to our youth and also their families, so that they can remain a strong family unit and really have unconditional love for one another. You know, we know over the years that Jill has, worked with over 400 families in the St. Charles area alone. And that doesn't count the number of people that, know Jill and, has a friend or family member come out to them and they'll be like, I know somebody you need to talk to. Our PFLAG mom, Jill All. You know, when I speak of Jill, I oftentimes call her our PFLAG mother. And, for me, she has been that. Had my family had a Jill, it would have made all of our journeys a little bit easier.
At the core of my being is the belief that every human being deserves equality and acceptance and love.
So when I was 12, my dad was deployed overseas in the military. After September 11th, he got a phone call that he was going to be deployed. It was challenging for my family. It was very difficult to have my dad gone and my mom having 3 kids under the age of 12.
One day, I opened my front door and one of the neighbors who I barely knew had dropped off this beautiful dinner. And I started tearing up and Simone saw me and I think she said, Mom, why are you sad? And I said, I'm really just not sad, but touched by, that someone I barely knew and even not asking just dropped off dinner.
People wanted to make a difference for my family and I recognized that I wanted to do something too.
So then she asked me about volunteering.
So I went to different organizations in St. Louis and a lot of them said, you're too young to volunteer. You can't make a difference at this age, and that really frustrated me. It made me recognize that something needed to change.
So when she was a junior in high school, she put together a website locally called St. Louis Volunteen.
And my brother put together sort of the website. It was an ugly sort of Excel type page online. And we found organizations that were willing to take youth to volunteer, that understood the power of youth to make a difference.
She went to high schools and promoted it. And then from there, her goal was to make it a national site.
St. Louis Volunteen evolved into Volunteen Nation. It wasn't just an issue where St. Louis organizations weren't allowing youth to volunteer. It was a national problem. People all over the country wanted to find organizations that could allow them to volunteer. And the idea of Volunteen Nation was to find organizations that could be willing to accept youth volunteers. We have over 10,000 volunteer opportunities that are listed on our website.
She also provides resources and grant opportunities for kids to start their own program.
And when we created our own service projects, whether it was basketball clinics for youth on the autism spectrum, or whether it's gardens in areas of St. Louis that may not have gardens. For me, I really recognize the benefit of volunteering when you're able to create a project from the start to the finish. Volunteen Nation has evolved and grown to help over 1 million youth finding volunteer opportunities across the country.
I'm so incredibly proud of her. She's been recognized as a Forbes 30 Under 30. She's been a Glamour College Woman of the Year, a Traditional Home Woman of the Year. So she's received some, but this really, to be from her hometown community, means the most.
It makes me feel so incredible to see the evolution of Volunteen Nation. I would have been excited if even just one volunteer would have found an opportunity that best fit their interests, but to see so many youth excited and motivated to volunteer with organizations that really interest them is truly the most neat thing to see.
Welcome Neighbor STL was formed in November of 2016 after I read an article in the Riverfront Times about a group of Syrian refugee teenage boys who had been attacked in the area. I thought, what other issues and what other problems is this vulnerable population experiencing?
It's very hard to come to America when you don't speak English, when you don't know anyone.
So many people that had lost their families, that had been devastated by the war in Syria.
When I came to America, the life was very difficult, without language, without job.
We went out to meet the people, to meet the families, and to learn from them what their challenges were and what we could do to help. We learned that the apartments were filled with bed bugs, cockroaches. There were shootings in the area. It was a very unsafe area for these people. So I created a posting on the Nextdoor platform that connected all of the neighbors in the area and let them know about this problem. And we were overwhelmed by the response of neighbors coming out, bringing donations, clothing, shoes, toiletry items, you name it. St. Louis responded.
She came to visit me and she invited her American friends. I told her I need help to learn English and to learn how I can live in this new country.
With many of the Syrian refugee women, they had never worked when they were in Syria. So we thought, what can we do to help accentuate the skills that they already have and that they love doing and to bring their culture to St. Louis? And we thought, what better way to do it than through cooking? And so we started a supper club event. To date, we have held 55 supper club events. We have raised over $80,000 and we have served 2,700 people in St. Louis. And 100% of the proceeds go back to the Syrian refugee women who cooked the meals. We host them in churches, community centers, synagogues, temples, mosques, any place that invites us to host a meal.
She supported me and helped me to build my own business.
She has her own catering company. She's doing between 3 to 5 catering jobs every week.
Syrian people came to America to create their own life and good life for their children. And Jessica, she helped all the Syrian refugees people to create their good life.
One of the things that inspired me to start Welcome Neighbor STL is the fact that my mother left when I was very little. And I always thought, why is God doing this to me? That my mother would leave me. But I realized the older that I got, that God wasn't doing this to me, God was doing this for me, to be able to open up my heart, to show me the pain that other people feel, so that I could be an advocate for them and to show them unconditional love in the same way that I always wanted to receive it, but never did.
I spend 2 weekends each month to feed the homeless people because I want to give back to the American people in the same way when Jessica gave back to me. We are very thankful and grateful to this amazing woman.
I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor before the age of 40. I had 7 surgeries due to breast cancer.
Valeda's a fighter. She has sass, she has grit. She's so gracious though. She has the faith of a mustard seed, but it's as big as a giant.
After the surgeries, I would go home to try to get in my bed and I couldn't get in the bed. I tried to go get on the couch. The couch wouldn't work. I just couldn't get comfortable. So I got into my husband's recliner and I felt like this is heaven. The recliner was it. And I just told God, if I get better, when I get better, I'm going to give recliners away to women that undergo a double mastectomy due to the diagnosis of breast cancer.
So Valeda's Hope is an amazing not-for-profit for women who have undergone a double mastectomy. Valeda has dedicated herself to providing lounge chairs, really comfortable chairs that women can actually heal in after they've undergone the mastectomy or any type of surgery from breast cancer. They also provide comfort items to the families as well as navigation through the breast cancer process. She also has the Girls Fit Day with Nordstrom's. She does a chew and chat, and she does about 4 mammogram vans throughout the year for the community. And so with all of those activities, she's still able to go do speaking engagements where she talks to teenagers. She was able to partner with one of her doctors in the Go Tell Your Mom series in the Hazelwood School District.
I said, I want to do conferences or seminars, workshops, something for our community because we are number 2 in the United States where Black women are dying at an alarming rate because of breast cancer. We're dying because of lack of knowledge. So if we can get this knowledge in the community, this will help us.
Every Monday without fail on her social media platforms, there is the Monday reminder about Mammogram Monday is what it says.
We need you. I need you. Valeda's Hope needs you. to make your appointment and keep your appointment. And we're going to win. We are going to win.
When we're out sometimes, we can be in a mall and someone will walk up to her and just say, Valeda! And they just light up and they talk to her about how they get her reminders about doing the mammogram or how she might have helped a sister or a friend, whether she knows it or not. She has a lasting effect on everyone she touches.
It's just an honor and a privilege and a humble feeling to be able to give back when your life has been spared. I don't want this to end. I want us to continue to win lives.
We're always headed in one direction. Dad put us on the path to make St. Louis be the best city that it can possibly be. And Andy and I both adopted that. And so we keep that in mind all the time. He was very forward-thinking. When he started the foundation, companies just didn't do that. He just felt that we should support the communities that we lived in and worked in. His final wish to us was to make St. Louis the greatest place it can be.
My mom is wonderful. You know, she's beautiful, she's smart, she's funny, she's very compassionate, and I think those attributes are what have made her so good at her job.
15 years ago, Dad came to me and he wanted to save the symphony. So I went on the board of the symphony, spent 15 years there, and that kind of got me going. And then from then, I've been involved with Boys and Girls Club, United Way, Urban League, food banks, you name it. We're involved with pretty much everything.
That's what my mom can do. She can bring people together and expose them to things that they had no idea that were going on right here in the city. Recently, she signed on to be the honorary co-chair of the Girl Scouts.
We are most passionate about the city and everything we can do to bring people together, make it all-inclusive, which is why I'm so passionate about the Girl Scouts, because that is what they are trying to do. Help all the girls, no matter where they're from, prepare themselves to go out into the world.
One of Mom's greatest strengths is that it's not just about giving a check. For her, there is an involvement, and she likes to have that relationship. She likes to be able to call and see, how are things going? Is there anything else we can be doing? And I think those long-term relationships are just another key to how successful she's been.
We have a long relationship with Rankin Technical College. When they came to us, we went down to see the school. They were in a tough neighborhood, and they were not popular in the neighborhood because they were not bringing in kids from the neighborhood. So we wanted to help them with that. And now they build houses in the neighborhood. The kids themselves build the houses, and we're doing everything we can to help with that. But initially, it was an automotive thing that we hooked up with them about. Cars are getting so complicated and so advanced that there's no one that can fix them. We're going to need a lot of people in the future, and Rankin is doing a great job in preparing these kids.
She wants to help everybody, and so I think she's become a confidant to a lot of leaders in the nonprofit world.
What would the world be if we didn't have these people? They're working incredibly long hours, and I'm just grateful for all the good hearts that are out there that do all the good deeds that they do.
She chooses to stay behind the scenes. And so what's interesting is people will say, oh, I didn't know you were involved in that. And she's like, that's how I like it.
It's hard for me because I'm not used to accepting awards, but it's really an honor, and I really do appreciate it.
Well, I've had many careers in my life, and I think I just don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I started out as a science writer. I went from that to landscaping, owning a landscape company. Then I was a project manager of the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Then I became a prison chaplain. I'm a Buddhist priest. I think all the careers gave me a lot of understanding in all the different aspects of human life.
She made me come to believe that if you're a Buddhist, your purpose on this earth is to make other people's lives better. She lives her religion. When she became the chaplain, she was better than all the others I had seen before her in that she did more. She did more for the inmates, and everyone loved her, staff and offender alike. offenders would confide in her that they were worried that if they got out there with no job and nothing waiting on them, that they were going to wind up back.
And I'd say, hey, Chaplain Mac, we're getting out in a couple weeks. What are we going to do? They were released from prison with a one-way ticket to where the crime was committed. They got $8.50 from the state. They're required in a certain amount of time to get a job. And so I promised the guys, I sometimes regret that promise as a joke, but I told the guys I retired in April of 2015. And I said, when I leave here, I'm going to figure out some kind of a job that you can do.
I knew enough about her background to not doubt her. She decided, I'm going to open a business and create jobs for ex-offenders. And she didn't like to cook, but she loved to bake. So she opened a bakery.
We started with 2 guys, and this last fall we were up to 11 employees.
They have jobs and they have income, then they have no need to commit a further crime to feed themselves or house themselves. It's really that simple. In Missouri, the recidivism rate is in the 60s. We've had 2 out of 20, I'm saying 25, who have gone back into the system. By my calculations, that's 8%. The rest have all become law-abiding, tax-paying citizens.
We've had one woman who's working for the city of St. Louis now in a full-time position. We have one person who is managing a restaurant, not just working there, but managing it. We have one gentleman who has a 7-year-old son, and he said, my son is never going to go down the road I went down. I mean, I could almost cry when they make their first pie and it comes out right. And they turn around and they go, I made that. And they're just so excited about what they can do and proud of what they can do, and they can walk upright.
A young woman came into our life down in the Central West End. Every morning, she and my husband and I would have coffee with her. She shared with us that she had full-blown AIDS, and she asked us if we would just take 10 minutes and do a short video of her story. With that video, she would take it to schools and she would teach preventative education. And out of that came a nonprofit. That led us to Doorways. That was one of our very first organizations that we were privy to do a documentary about the people that lived there. That was about 25, 30 years ago. Today, we like to give back to the community, and we do that by gratis making videos for nonprofits. We call them mini documentaries, or we call them marketing pieces, but the idea is that they take these videos and they showcase their mission, what they do, what their programs can do to change the landscape of the lives of the people that they touch.
Mary has made a lasting impact on the St. Louis community. She has been involved in human services, in social justice, education, healthcare, the arts, just about everything. And it's been wonderful for, her to share her time and her talent in so many areas of our community, which we've all benefited from it.
COCA turned out to be one of the very first places that I was asked to serve on a board. They have grown into a major arts organization that has a byproduct of social justice. So many young people that wouldn't have had a chance to excel in their skills and talents in the arts. COCA's been there for them.
And they did a video for our organization.
We were able to observe the volunteers coming in with such joy and enthusiasm as they prepared backpacks for kids or boxes of food for hungry people.
She's a genius at problem solving. She's a true humanitarian and a wonderful philanthropist in our community. And I always think if the water is rising, you want to be in Mary's lifeboat. The things that she's done, are going to have a long-lasting impact for decades to come.
I feel so fortunate, so honored, so privileged to be part of this group of women. that I'm speechless, and that's unusual.
I was raised on a farm in Tennessee, and we didn't have much, but what we did have, we shared with other people. My father, in his many life conversations, would say, always take someone with you. And that means that you have not succeeded unless you have taken somebody along the way and helped them with their success.
Mary's involved in a lot of things. And, you know, some of us try to stay away and say, no, we're not gonna let Mary ask us to do anything. She can come in at you and your head begins to nod and you say, yes, that is a good idea. I think we can do that.
Well, the auxiliary to the Mound City Medical Farm, I have been president for 20 years. And this organization, we sort of cater to, let's say, the non-traditional nursing student. So we support her not only financial through scholarship, but mentoring also.
Mary works in a myriad number of organizations.
About 12 years ago, I came across this article, and they were talking about historical Black colleges and universities, stating that they have lost their purpose, that they do not graduate students in 4 years. And the reason was, it was not academically, but it was financially.
So Mary says, we're going to create the St. Louis Morehouse College Parents Association.
And 12 families came forward. Two of our goals, number one, was to make sure that young men would not leave school prematurely, in debt, and without a degree. And the second goal was to support and mentor first-generation parents. Today, we have been able to provide over $125,000 to local students. We have been able to increase the enrollment.
We have now had quite a number of young men or families that now have first-time college experience. And what happens for our community, we get those young men to come back into this community.
I have been blessed myself. People have helped me, have guided. And like my father say, just take somebody with you. And that's what I try to do each and every day.
When our kids were little, my husband and I were going to a lot of birthday parties, and we wanted to teach the kids that not everybody is fortunate enough to go to parties and have birthdays like they do.
I think when Cindy was making birthday parties for her kids, and her eyes were open. She said, there have to be kids that don't get this, because she's led by her heart.
So as a family, we went to different agencies around town and we gave toys to kids that they could use on their birthdays. There was something about it that just really felt like it resonated with me. I love birthdays. My family's always celebrated together. I think growing up with my parents and my brothers, we always celebrated birthdays, and we learned about empathy and caring for others and just being a good, nice person. It's as simple as that.
I believe that Cindy is standing on the shoulders of her parents, who were also huge inspirations, I know, in her life. Cindy is one of those people that really makes a difference with everything she does.
As the kids got older, we did more and more of it, and we had friends and family ask about it, and they wanted to help, and it just kind of organically evolved.
She used everything she had, all the skills, all the intelligence, and all the resources that were there for her, and she made Birthday Joy as a response to what she saw.
Birthday Joy provides birthday gifts to children in need in St. Louis and surrounding areas, and we shop for kids each month. We get lists from agencies in town, and we have volunteer shoppers that range from 2 to 82. And we also have Birthday Joy Centers located throughout St. Louis, where they're stocked with toys and wrapping paper and birthday bags and tissues so parents can come in and they can pick out presents for their kids.
And you know, it's a wonderful idea, Birthday Joy, to realize that there are kids out there that don't get a present on their birthday, that don't get acknowledged on their birthdays, and realizing how important that is to kids. And when you start to read the letters, one child I read wrote, "This was the best birthday I ever had. Actually, it was the only birthday I had." And I think about those kids as they grow up, what kinds of people they will be and how they will want to give back one day.
Gotten thank you letters from the kids, from parents, from caseworkers that have told us that when the kids see the presents, that their face lights up, and to know that it came on their birthday to celebrate the day they were born means so much to them. It brings tears to my eyes.
She truly epitomizes everything that we all strive to be.
I'd like every child in our community to be able to celebrate a birthday and know that someone's thinking about them.
Cindy is a woman of achievement and a role model for us all.
I think volunteering does a lot for a person. It opens up your eyes. You see what's going on in the other half of the world. I worked in the St. Louis school system for about 40 years. I was educated myself in the St. Louis public schools. Went to Stowe Teachers College.
What year was that?
Wow, do you really want to know? 1950 is when I graduated.
From high school?
From college.
She graduated from Harrison. She was homecoming queen of 1948. So I really credit Miss Ollie for my success in higher education. She was my high school counselor. Just always was encouraging the courses to take. You can always do well, and that just inspired me.
The organizations that I joined and worked with and worked in always wanted to help young people achieve whatever they could and be all that they could be.
She spent thousands of hours with the Miriam Shop, which is part of the foundation that assists the institution. Tops Ladies Distinction is another group. Her beloved Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She's coming up to maybe 70 or 75 years of service in that organization. Worked with the NAACP. I would say she's one of the unsung heroes of St. Louis civil rights. A watershed moment in St. Louis history is the Jefferson Bank protests, and it really opened up and desegregated, if you will, St. Louis businesses, and Miss Ollie was part of that.
My mother was living with us at the time, and she said, "Oh no, I know you want to be with the people down there. You worked with CORE when you were in college and NAACP, but it is too hot, and you're expecting a baby, so no, you can't go." But I still wanted to help, and my help came in the form of telephone calls and helping to raise money to get those who were jailed out of jail.
She understands people and she understands their needs and their plights.
I do have 2 scholarships at Harris Stowe.
She still connects with the students of today.
Who knows what might become of the person who gets a scholarship. We never know. We just have to invest in young people.
So she was volunteering since the 1930s.
When I see the impact of what I've done, I say, well, that little bit did help. Or that little nudge, that little clue, that hug. And I think that it made me a better person, touching the lives of others.
Our thanks to these outstanding women, these incredible volunteers. Please welcome back Dr. Gwendolyn Packnett and Dr. Eva Frazer to now present the awards to the 2019 Women of Achievement.
Thank you, Carol. Jill Owl, honored for social justice. Simone Bernstein, honored for youth empowerment. Jessica Bueler, honored for community betterment. Valeda Keys, honored for health advocacy. Joanne Taylor Kindle, honored for spirit of giving. Kalen McAllister, honored for social enterprise. Mary Lieber Schoolman, honored for civic responsibility. Mary Harper Thomas, honored for educational enrichment. Cindy Lander Wallach, honored for youth and family. Mrs. Ollie Tucker Ward, honored for lifetime service. These are your 2019 Women of Achievement honorees.
Oh, you sound like you're getting tired. I present again our 2019 Women of Achievement. And I love to say it like Jack Buck said it, go crazy, folks, go crazy. Thank you again, and congratulations to this year's honorees for changing lives and saving lives. I want to remind you that the beautiful centerpieces are available for a $20 donation. Use the envelope on the table for your cash or check payment. And please hand that envelope to the volunteers as you leave the ballroom. Also on the registration tables, you will find the Post-Dispatch coverage of this year's Women of Achievement and Women of Achievement complimentary bookmarks as well. Please take that with you. You can listen to full interviews with each of the women that I conducted by going to kmox.com/WOA. We thank you again, and please nominate an extraordinary volunteer woman for next year. And mark your calendars. We will let you know. Tuesday, May 12th, 2020 will be our 65th anniversary luncheon. Congratulations again. Thank you all for coming. Be safe. God bless you.